Hey y'all, welcome back to another video. So I want to talk today about maintenance after decluttering because we have decluttered so many things in the home. And this has been going on for the past really 2 months, like consistently, but it started before we even moved into this apartment. There's a lot of things that came into this apartment that should have never come in here, that should have been decluttered. But I will say a lot of what happened before we moved in is I didn't know where we were going to move. And so it was like, are we going to stay? Are we going to move? This, that, and other, all of that. So moving forward, when it comes to maintaining the things that we have in the home and before we bring things into the home. I have a list of areas that I want to really have, I don't want to say a rule in place, but more so a thought process in that area. So the first would be the kitchen. Because I only have one of each type of cookware, that means I have to clean that particular cookware after I use it. So I only have one small saucepan. So after I use it, I need to clean it. It's not something I can just put in the dishwasher. When you have multiple, you can just throw it in a dishwasher, and then, if you're going to cook again and you need that same saucepan, you have another one. No, this will require me to keep the kitchen clean. Also, less having to run the dishwasher. That's the biggest thing because, the way that the water is, okay, it is high. Sticking to that and also trying to focus on creating more one pot meals. I think that would be easier instead of using multiple pots at one time. And I think at that point, I may be able to dwindle down my pots even more. We will see. It's more so of a see as you go type thing. Another thing, as far as the kitchen, is storage. I do not have a lot of storage containers, and I'm not going to buy more storage containers. So that means I need to meal prep wisely. I need to cook wisely and not cook too much to where I would have to store excess food in the freezer, or if all my storage containers are being used, I don't have anywhere to put the food. So that requires a lot more planning when it comes to meals. Now, I like to cook. Okay, I cook 3 times a week. All right, so I do like to cook, and sometimes I like to cook really lavish type meals. But I'm going to have to cut back on that in order to, one, not use so many dishes, and two, I have limited storage space. Also, how this is going to help me is my grocery bill. My grocery bill is something that I am struggling with. So I need to cook based on the cookware that I have and the amount of containers that I have. And this will also help me in knowing, how much to cook, because we do have leftovers. And it may be that I cook and we have leftovers for the next day, maybe lunch for the day after that. So it's not too much food, but that's where meal planning and meal prep comes into play. And I have pretty much planned out the meals for breakfast, lunch, and dinner for the entire month of May. And that's something that I want to continue going forward so that it's like not so much. Also, in the kitchen, making sure that the kitchen is clean. Now, I am really good at making sure that after I cook, the kitchen is clean. I do not go to bed with dishes in the sink, and I do not go to bed with dishes on the stove. I clean the stove, all of that. So I have made that a habit because I cook so much that I do not have dishes out, that the kitchen is completely clean. So that involves putting dishes in the dishwasher, like I said, pots and pans, having to wash them. Another area that pretty much stays consistently, I guess, decluttered or minimalized is I don't buy paper towels. We use reusable cloth towels. So you can throw them in the wash machine and then just reuse them. And they stay in like this little neat basket, right? And that's where they stay. Takes up no space, literally no space. And it's easier that way. It cuts back on, one, having to buy paper towels, and two, adding to the, my environmental footprint. Yeah, cut back on that. So that's a really good area that I have been consistently minimalized in. The next area is the bathroom. This is specifically about products that we use. A lot of the products we use the same products. My son has locks, and I typically keep my hair in this hairstyle. So we use the same shampoo. I do not use conditioner on his hair like cream conditioner because, like I said, he has locks. So I'll get like a spray leave-in conditioner so it doesn't add any buildup to his hair. And I use that same leave-in conditioner for my hair. Now, something I used to do is stockpile. And what I mean by that is once I found a product, I would buy a lot of it. I will no longer do that because what happens is I end up, one, maybe not liking the product anymore, or the people who make it decide to change the ingredients and it no longer works for my hair. So then I have to find something else. But I had stockpiled and bought a bunch of this one thing. My whole thinking behind that is that a lot of the hair products I get from Marshalls or like Ross or somewhere like that because they are cheaper than going to a hair care store or going on Amazon. So it may be that if I can't find it in these places anymore and it's a product I really like, then I will buy directly from the brand. So no more stockpiling, no more having backups. Once I have finished something or I am about to finish it, I will then go out and buy another one to replace it. This keeps down on the declutter and it also keeps down on the waste in case I no longer want to use that particular product. Something else that we use that is the same as the hair oil. So whatever oils I put in my hair, that's the same oils that I put in my son's hair. And I have really been sticking to this one brand, which is Farm to Table. And I use like all of their products. So that's probably where I'm going to stay as far as our hair goes. Also, bath soap. I used to buy my son a particular type of bath soap, which is a Dove sensitive skin unscented because he has real bad eczema. And I would buy like the I think it was the charcoal ones. Dove soap is expensive. Okay. So now we both use the one that my son has. And I'll buy like a 8 pack. So we each get 4 a piece. So yeah. Because like I said, it's very expensive, right? And I can't afford to be buying like 2 different types of soap. So we just use the same soap. Something else I want to implement was stick with what works, not trying to buy a bunch of different things that are, I would say, not buy the same thing in different brands. So stick with a brand that works and cut down on that. Not trying to try this one or try that one. No, stick with something that works. Our bath towels. This is the area that I'm not willing to negotiate. We each have 3 dry off towels a piece. That's 6. We each have 4 washcloths. That's 8. Okay. I'm not compromising there because we change towels every other day. I know that some people talk about how they only have one towel or one set of towels per person. No, we change towels every other day and I wash them weekly. So I was not compromising in that area. And I have considered getting us like one more dry off towel so that it'll be an even number. So we can switch the towels one for one. But we'll see. But yeah, I was not compromising in that area. I was like, nah, absolutely not. And the last thing in the bathroom is our sheets. We each have 2 sets of sheets apiece. So I have donated a bunch of sheets. So once we take one set off, throw them in the washing machine, put the other set on, and we're good. Clothes. Clothes is like the biggest thing because my son is still growing. So of course there's going to be, clothes, more clothes coming in, but I have had a really bad habit of not taking the old clothes out. Therefore, he has clothes that he has not been able to wear for who knows how long. Like I got rid of a bunch of socks, a bunch of his socks, over 60 pairs donated, and over a dozen pairs thrown away, or like a bunch of singles because they didn't have a match. Who knows where those socks are? And now my son, I believe, has less than 20 pairs of socks. Honestly, I don't even think you need that many because of how often I do laundry, but that's just what it is, especially because he is still growing and because he does play at school, because of the park, all that. I mean, I guess I could get rid of some more socks, but right now, because they fit in the drawer that they're in his hanging organizer, I'm going to stay at that number. The same with my socks. Also, with clothes, any new clothes that come in, there are clothes that have to go out. So it's like a 1-to-1, basically. If I buy 2 new dresses, 2 dresses have to go out. And same thing with my son's clothes. If he gets a new outfit, then an outfit has to go out. That is how you keep from getting so many things. Is that when you bring new things in, old things have to come out. You can't just keep the old and the new. That's what creates so much declutter and you having so many things. It's really unnecessary to have a whole bunch of clothes because you can only wear so many clothes at one time. Like my closet is mostly dresses. I can only wear one dress at a time, right? This also goes for shoes. So the shoe racks that we have at the door, whatever shoes we have to fit on my son's shoe rack or on the shelves that my shoes are on. So if there's no room for a new pair of shoes, that means an old pair has to be donated. And I want to keep this thing going because I don't want to have an overflow. The thing is, if we bring in new things and it has nowhere to go, that is a problem. So whenever I go to buy new things like shoes or clothes, I have to make sure, hey, is there space for it? I just went through all of our hangers and got rid of a bunch of hangers, donating all of them because they're really good condition and they're really sturdy hangers. So I'm getting rid of all those hangers and we only have a few hangers left. So if we bring new things in and we run out of hangers, that's it. That means we're going to have to really start assessing the clothes that we have and giving clothes away. Now, we do have like seasonal clothes, but I will say this. I live in Texas, specifically Houston. Winter clothes are not necessary. They're not. I'll just be honest with you. Winter clothes are not necessary. This past winter, we didn't even really have a winter. We had like a freeze over like 3 days, but most of the time we could go outside with sandals. That's just the perks of living in Houston. The next section, art supplies. My son and I love art. As you can see on the wall, my artwork, I love to paint, I love to sketch. So we each have a multimedia book a piece. So his is a mixed multimedia. Mine has a section for sketching, a section for mixed multimedia, and a section for watercolors because I do use all three. So we each have one book apiece. And his, he can use like whatever kind of markers, whatever kind of crayons, pencils, paint, what have you. We each have one book. And all of our art supplies fits on a cart. That means all of our paint, our colored pencils, and my sketch pencils are all in a container and they fit on the cart. If it doesn't fit on the cart, we can't keep it. Now, the art supplies for our multimedia pads is separate than the arts and crafts bin. So my son does have an arts and crafts bin for when he does projects. So it's one bin that has like a bunch of different arts and crafts things in it for him to do any kind of project. I also have a trifold board for whenever he needs it. So I keep that for when he has projects at school or sometimes at home we'll do projects, we'll do little things. That one bin has all his arts and crafts stuff. So the bin is not even full, right? I even have some egg cartons in there, the ones that are made from, I don't want to say cardboard, but like kind of like cardboard. I have those in there. I have some plastic ones in there. It's like all kinds of stuff that you can do arts and crafts with are in that bin. So there's construction paper, there's glue, there's eyeballs, there's sequins, there's stickers, there's all kind of stuff in there. Fits in that bin. With that being said, with our paint and color pencils and crayons, because we have so much, we're not buying anymore. So we're not going to buy anymore until all the markers run out, all the paint runs out. Until it runs out, we will not be replacing anything. Now, with the paint, we do have multiple colors that are the same because if they come in a pack, it's usually like a different color pack. And sometimes the different color packs have the same one or two colors in it. So we do have multiples of the same color, but I mean, it's not really, you can't really avoid that unless you buy them individually. And who wants to do that? Not me. I don't feel like that's efficient or a good use of my money to buy them just individually. So anything new that I buy that we don't already have, it has to fit in the cart. If there's no room, it does not come home. And that's with all areas of the house. Toys. What is actually played with? So my son has until he goes to his dad's house for the summer. I'm keeping him the first part of the summer, and he'll go to his dad's house. If he has toys that he has not played with, they're all going to be donated, and there's a lot of them. And he is aware. When we went through his toys the last time, he is very aware that he has until that time frame. If they're not played with, they're being donated. Period. And same thing with the toys, one in, one out. You get a new toy, toys have to go, right? Toys are a little different because if you get like a small toy, it's kind of like, does it make sense to like donate another small toy? I don't know. We'll come across that bridge when we get to it. Also, because my son's toys are currently in their own storage bins, it has to fit in the storage bins that he already has. I'm not buying new storage bins, period. And this goes into my next section, our bookshelves. He has a bookshelf, I have a bookshelf. I don't buy books. We do have books. Mine mostly has my Bibles and notebooks on them for my dream journals. And his has a few books. That's also where I store his toy bins. So if it cannot fit on the bookshelf, I don't buy it. However, we are going to stick to going to the library or using the Libby or Kindle applications. So it yeah, the bookshelves, nothing else can go on my bookshelf, to be honest. I'm looking at my bookshelf now, nothing else can go on there. So we are going to stick to no buying books, just go to the library, check it out, or read the ebook. Because each of us has a library card for both the library systems in Houston. So for the Harris County Public Library and for the Houston Public Library. So things to consider moving forward. Does this align with stewarding my home, my money, and my time? And that goes for any purchase. If it does not fall in that category, if it's not good stewarding, I will not buy it. With maintenance, I do want to reassess like maybe every quarter of the year, go through the house and see like, are we really using all the things in here? And if there's things that I have not touched, I will donate. Now, I have thought about making a list of everything that I have used, making a spreadsheet, and then like next to it like a date for each item that I have used it. I think that would be good, but I'm not doing that. That's just too much. Immediately clean all areas. Everything needs to go back where it's supposed to go. That's how you keep clutter out. Putting things back once you have finished using them. So that means cleaning up after ourselves, putting things back once we have used them. Yeah, putting things back once we have used them. Yes, I know I'm still recording. So that's how we keep the house clean and clutter free. Healthy. Yes, and this is our level. Take care of our home. And make sure we get it treated nicely. With making purchases, I am going to ask myself a few questions. Do I have room? Will it last? Is it necessary? And how much time will it cost me? Right? And so one thing that somebody commented on one of my videos, and she said that when it comes to free things, just because it's free doesn't mean that it's not going to cost you in time. And that comes with, going places or events where they give out free stuff. You don't always have to take things because it's free. It's not necessary, especially if you're not going to use the thing. No, there is absolutely nothing in this life that is free. Everything is going to cost you something, whether it's money, whether it's time, whether it's your health, what have you. It's always going to cost you something. And last thing, no impulse buys. So not buying something just because it looks nice or it's on sale or anything like that. Without asking those questions first, how much will it cost me in time? And is it going to fit in the house? Is there a place for it? No. No impulse buys. And that's all I have for y'all.